Travel to the door is a normal placement. Tattoos on my arm and a form of face. Yeah,
This is Tattoo with Children. I'm Flavor Ray. I just wanted to say I did not really expect anyone to listen to this podcast when we started, and the fact that some of you are listening makes me feel extremely, extremely grateful. I cannot thank you enough for taking your time to download something that we've made that we're really, really excited about. We're really, really proud that we're able to be brave enough to make to make our fear go down long enough to actually say something onto a mic that you might hear, and the fact that you're there listening just makes it much better for us all. So I just want to say thank you, and also invite you to engage with our social media. We're on Facebook at Tattoo with Children. We're on Instagram at Tattoo with Children, and we're on Twitter at Tattooed With, because Twitter does not allow that many characters. So that's as far we got, was at Tattooed With. But it's on Twitter. And what I would really like for you guys to do is to follow on Twitter, if you could, because for the first, let's say, 200 follows, I'm definitely following back. So I'm following back everybody who follows me for at least the first 200, maybe further than that. So just to get maximum engagement, you will be like the first few followers if you follow right now on Twitter, and then you're on board. You're in the village from that point forward. So you can message us, give us questions. You can message us to give us topics. You can make requests. You want to get more information about a topic that you heard, you can definitely engage with us on that. So, with that, we'll get started. I'm Flavor Ray in Seat A. Across from me is Seat B, Ben Harbuck, and across from us is the incomparable Mike Payne. So, Cult Leader Ben, what do we say today?
Hey, what's up? I'm sorry, I didn't know we were doing this already. Is this, what episode are we on?
Oh, God. This is 4?
This is 4.
Okay, episode 4, yeah.
All right, cool. That sounds good. Yeah.
All right, yeah, cool.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but there is another iPhone coming out. It is the 11th iteration of the iPhone. Did you guys know that? iPhone 11?
Yeah, there's big news on the
Yeah,
announcements.
no, I don't. What's going on with the iPhone?
Well, it's just a new one. It's not out yet, but it's this design was revealed. Like they revealed some rudimentary specs on it and some design cues, and one of the most exciting ones is the fact that it has not one, not two, but 3 cameras. 3 cameras on the iPhone 11, and they're all clustered.
Now, didn't the Google phone do this?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's been other ones been doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't think it's the first
cameras,
one to do it.
wide field, things like that. Yeah.
But the thing about the iPhone 11, it's got people freaked out because the cameras are clustered, and they're clustered in this like a triangle, so that they're like they're not quite symmetrical. Okay, and so apparently clustering things that have circles freaks people out. It's called trypophobia. Trypophobia. So a fear of small clusters of holes, and people are actually disturbed. They're actually upset that the iPhone is designed to have these. And in fact, Apple may.
That's not a real. That can't be a real thing.
They may have to. You can look it up.
A small cluster of holes.
you can look it up. It's there. Like that's the first thing that happened was like these. Like someone actually said, this iPhone should come with a warning.
Can we define? We define cluster here because I'm having a problem.
It's a cluster is a gathering.
How many holes do there have to be in order for it to be a cluster?
3 is the minimum.
Oh,
It's got to be 3 in the minimum.
Okay, so, all right, keep going, because I'm losing y'all. Okay, so trypophobia?
Trypophobia.
See, you've already lost me, because, like, trypophobia would be a fear of trips. Like
It's-
you don't like to take vacations or something.
You don't speak Latin,
It's
then,
spelled
that's the problem.
It's spelled TRYPO phobia.
TRYPO.
Phobia. PHOBIA.
Okay.
So, and people are wanting.
This is a podcast for kids who don't read good.
People are wanting trigger warnings. Okay, this is you know how people get triggered now. That's a thing that happens to people now. They
Yeah.
get triggered.
Okay. Sure.
So he wants a trigger warning, just like it's like, oh, this may trigger you if you are been damaged and traumatized in your life by small holes. This phone could trigger you, so be careful. But the problem I have with it is you don't ever have to engage with this phone if you don't want to. So why are you giving Apple shit about it? Why are you mentioning this?
They have to though, because they do have to engage with it. Because phones are a part of our daily lives, so they can't not engage with it, especially if they've put so much into the relationship at this point. And now all of a sudden, Apple is ignoring its trypophobic constituents, and
are we at that point now where we have to, all our products have to take into account our fucked up phobias?
I'm gonna play both sides of the field here, right?
Okay.
If you look up trypophobia, right,
Yeah.
which I did to get the pronunciation to make sure we weren't really screwing it up, and we're 100% dead on. Thank you, Ray. You're perfect.
You're welcome.
It is not recognized officially as a mental disorder, as a real thing, as a diagnosable thing.
Okay, so you can't go to the doctor and get medicine for your trypophobia.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's not officially recognized. However, here's the other side of it. The other side of it is, if it is indeed something that does actually bother people, you don't have to own the phone to be forced to engage with it. Because then you've got somebody who's coming up to you and go,
well, they can
we're going
point
to take
it
your
to you,
picture,
right?
and then now you're looking at this unsymmetrical cluster of holes going, I'm freaking out, and you're going to have terrible pictures.
Those are going to be great fucking pictures. Those are going to be the best pictures ever. I cannot wait to see people just absolutely lose their shit when somebody points their iPhone 11 at them.
Guaranteed to be better than the game.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about starting a whole nother hobby where I just go around and try and trigger people with mundane objects.
okay,
we've been doing this for years. You just take a.
It's like just find something that says, are you afraid of cylinders?
Okay, so here's the thing. Apple is actually being pretty smart about this, and I understand that the information was leaked or whatnot, but no one actually cares about that. The reality of the situation is they're being real smart about this, and they're going ahead, and they're trying to get some information before the thing is actually out, so they can know how bad the resistance is going to be. You know what I'm saying?
How many trypophobes are out there?
Right, exactly.
They're doing market research.
Yeah, exactly. That's all they're doing. They're doing market research right now. They're not actually.
They're not actually going to attack trypophobes with.
Yeah, no,
with this
they're not.
design.
They're not going to actually put like a phone with bug eyes out there. You know what I'm saying? Because they need people to buy iPhones. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not. Like I see this being kind of like you know, like the you know, that movie the about the birds. You know, that old.
The birds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that
birds.
one.
Like that scary movie about the birds that I never watched because I get scared of shit like that.
For real?
Yeah,
guy
no,
with a
straight
crow on
up.
his neck?
He has a fucking crow on his neck. He's scared of birds.
Yeah, no, I'm not scared of like birds, but like a lot of birds in
Yeah.
one place. Like
One or two
yeah.
birds is fine.
I mean,
No, man,
the movie was horrifying. There's
But
no
look,
doubt about that.
I hang with my brothers. Like the crows are good. Like we're fine. I love seeing crows.
Right.
I actually feel better when crows are around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like when crows are around, I feel like I know what's up, and when my brothers are absent, I feel very lost. You know, like because I'm not getting my warnings on time, You know, I don't know what's happening in the universe.
Who's watching the corners if the crows are
Yeah, exactly. And so like, but it's kind of like that. Like I see what Apple's doing here. You know, they're going to have that. You know, when you do take a close-up picture of the eye of a fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going to be on top of the iPhone.
What they're doing is they're not just going after the trypophobes, they're going after the arachnophobes as well.
Right, yeah,
your phone looks like a spider's face.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my thought as well. I was like, if they just have a few more objects on there, like maybe make the fingerprint scanner like integrated into it somehow so it looks exactly like an insect face. And then I would actually get an iPhone. I would trade in my Samsung just to freak people out with my iPhone.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's worth it to me.
I haven't, I've never gotten on the Apple bandwagon. I'm not,
Like,
I mean,
I don't
it's
use
probably,
iPhones. Quick, I'm a Samsung guy, all right? Like, everything I do with Samsung, I just love the Galaxy. You know, there's nothing against Apple. I know everyone who owns a fucking Apple thinks that Androids are, like, low-rent ghetto phones for some reason.
This podcast is recorded on an Apple.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Well, but what that's
she's got to cancel the podcast.
Yeah, well we don't. But see that's the thing is like Ray and I don't dislike anything if it works. I think the problem is it's like it just takes a certain degree of technical ability. I feel like my biggest problem with the Apple products is turning them on.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a big red button or something, you know? I don't know.
I mean, I own 3 iPads. I have a gigantic iMac at my house. Like, I love Apple products. I love the way they're designed and all of that, but I don't think of it as a part of my identity. Where a lot of people think of, like, their Apple product is part of their identity. It's like, I'm an Apple guy. You know, it's like, it's what you have a green text message where you're a piece of shit. I can't talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I don't know. I think it's part of the where capitalism is gone. I mean, we identify with the products we have. I mean, if you talk to my wife or any of my best friends, like real people that are in my daily circle, they'll tell you straight up, like I totally love brands. Right. Like I'm a brand whore, dude. Like I straight up am a brand whore.
That
like I love buying the nicest things. I would rather not buy things if I can't buy the version of it that I want.
But you like the brands you like though. Like
I do.
It's not necessarily like the top brand. It's just the brand that you're into. If you go to his IG, the Black Crow Brother on Instagram, you'll see like he's brands like Ink Generation and K-Swiss and
well, like the only clothes I have right now, like I have Stan Ray pants, and I have K-Swiss shoes, and then I have Next Level T-shirts. Like that's all I wear. That's actually the only thing in my closet. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything else, and I'm not drawn to buy anything else. Like I don't see like a Levi commercial and be like, oh man, you know what? I should have that. I see a Levi commercial and I stop watching because I don't participate with that brand. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and it's not for any particular reason other than their product does not draw me in.
I think you're unintentionally brand loyal. Like I don't think you intend to be brand loyal. Like I don't think you're doing it to be in the group, in the Ink Generation group or in the K-Swiss group.
Yeah.
I think that you just like K-Swiss made the shoe that you liked, and so you bought K-Swiss.
Yeah, and then I was like, hey, this fits, and so why would I have other shoes?
Yeah, unconscious consistency. The consistency is the requirement.
Yeah, and it is true that I get a little weird about like things that are super popular without question.
I don't understand Jordans. Can I just say that out loud?
I mean, you can.
Like, I mean, well, I understand it in the sense of, okay, it was a good brand back in the day, but what is it now? Like, are these shoes better than some other shoes?
Well, it's just associated. The brand has associated with itself with excellence.
Yes.
And that
it's done it without being excellent.
Well,
it's not an excellent shoe.
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know. I've never worn. I'll be real honest with you. I've never worn Jordans. I know St. David Inc., one of the tattoo artists here at Black Spot Tattoo Company, wears primarily only Jordans. That's all he wears.
Typically, a Jordan shoe compared to another shoe, the Jordan is going to not last nearly as long.
Yeah.
And it won't be nearly as comfortable.
Can we call them like Jordanists?
Jordan.
Can we put them in their own group?
Maybe call them. Oh God.
We're gonna get the Palestinians listening to this show.
That was, dude. Yeah, that's almost a conspiracy theory, but that's a whole nother subject, right?
Okay, yeah, let's not go there then. What?
Yeah,
I don't want to get us taken off the air.
We don't need to get taken off
before we're on the air.
The feds don't need to see this one yet.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm all for brand loyalty, but I'm all for it's like America, you know. If it's not about merit, then what is it about? Like, you know, I love, like, I was fully prepared to live and die by BlackBerry. Like back in the day when you remember BlackBerries, guys.
Yep.
I had a BlackBerry because the BlackBerry Messenger was the dopest messaging app that's ever existed. I'll put that on anything. It hasn't been topped today, but their hardware was a piece of shit over and over and over again. The last BlackBerry phone I got was a BlackBerry Storm. It was the worst phone I'd ever owned in my life.
Yeah. And
I was done.
Interestingly enough, the only reason I know about BlackBerry, even though I owned one, it didn't matter that I owned one. The only reason that I know about BlackBerry is because I was trying to learn how to day trade. I was shadowing a guy who day traded way back in the day. I'm trying to remember what year, but I'm not good with numbers, so I'm just going to quit doing that. But I was shadowing this guy every day, like watching his trades and watching what he did, and research in motion kept coming up. And so finally I went and looked up what they did, you know, because I'm like, what the fuck is this tag? Like, I don't understand it. And they were BlackBerry.
Right. Like, it's incredible to me that they got away with a company called R.I.M. for as long as they did.
Yeah, no, it was bizarre. Are they still a thing, by the way, BlackBerry?
No. The company still exists.
Yeah.
They are trying to produce something that meets the middle ground specifications, and have so far completely failed to do so.
They are not a thing. They're not a thing for a very good reason. They never changed to fit the time.
Where was that company from? Does anybody know that?
Where is BlackBerry? Can you look that up real fast, Mike?
I will look that up.
Like, I'm not sure where BlackBerry is from. My experience with BlackBerry was it was the corporate foe, and I was trying to get into corporate America real hard.
You know what's interesting is, like, for me, I feel like BlackBerry is from Canada.
Like, I really feel like it would be from Europe. Like, it was
really?
Like, yeah, I would think that was because it was the original design key on it with the haptic keyboard, and it was like that was pretty great at first. And that's normally an innovation like the Germans would do first and just sit it out.
All right,
where's it from?
Canadian multinational.
Canadian.
And so they are actually no longer known as Research in Motion. They have fully rebranded as BlackBerry Limited.
Well, there's no point in Research in Motion when you don't do any fucking research. You're just trying to hawk your piece of shit BlackBerry.
And they are transitioning into purely software.
I'm sure they are.
Sorry. So like when
I'm gonna keep my thoughts on
they are a team.
I think I'm gonna keep my thoughts for our neighbors in the attic to myself today.
Okay, so when I was at Corporate Shield, when I was hunting down any corporation that would have me, everybody was using BlackBerry Messenger, and they were doing real time messaging, like, you know, seconds.
Right.
Instead of meetings, they would have BlackBerry parties and go out and smoke or whatnot.
Right.
And so I just knew I had to have a BlackBerry, and I got my wife on it, and so she had a BlackBerry. So we were just messaging. It's like hundreds and thousands of messages.
Yeah. And
Ben, let me ask you, how well do you work when you have constant contact with someone not involved with your business?
Well, I don't do that anymore.
You don't do that anymore because it doesn't work that well. And
no,
it
doesn't.
Fucking everything up.
Yeah.
It was fucking everything up. But there was not contacting my wife. It was contacting everybody. Everybody who had a BlackBerry seemed like was messaging me, and I was doing thousands of these things a day.
Right.
and I just got real distracted.
What's interesting about that, though, is I think they did a pretty poor job of branding. I don't think the problem was actually the hardware, and I really don't think the problem was the software.
No, their security was top notch.
Yeah.
That's why it's still using government.
Right,
Yeah.
but the problem was their branding, because it shouldn't have been called messaging. It should have been called BlackBerrying.
Right.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
like
I would
you know
agree
what
with
I'm
that.
saying. Like, in other words, if it was as big as you say, you know what I mean. Like, and that's what's cool about actually good branding, which I still don't understand completely. But actually good branding, it becomes a buzzword.
Yeah.
So like down here in East Texas, we're like 3.5 hours from Dallas. We're like 2.5 hours from Houston. We're 2 hours from College Station, maybe 3.
2.
Yeah. Okay.
Two.
So but here's the cool thing. It's like, if you want an example of good branding, that's how far in the sticks we are. Like, we are behind the pine curtain.
Yes.
Okay. If you want to find a good videographer, and it's not just in my circle, you're looking for D-Rock.
Right.
I need a D-Rock.
Right, need a
you
D-Rock.
You don't need a videographer. You need a D-Rock.
That's right.
And I have heard other like I've been
There's
in
a
the
difference.
I have been in the coffee shop, right? And I'm like just ordering my coffee and I'm cool, right? And I hear like, what we're looking for is, from a table 5 tables over, what we're looking for here is a D-Rock.
Right.
We really need to hire a D-Rock. And I'm like, you guys do understand that that's just one dude, right?
It's just a guy who's
like,
good at his job.
It's just a guy that's really freaking good at his job.
But every time there's a big talk, there's Gary look over the side and say, "Hey, D-Rock."
Yeah.
What was about this? You just keep branding him over and over
No, it's
again.
badass. You guys go give a follow and shout out to D-Rock on Instagram and Twitter and everything else. It's just literally, it is D-R-O-C-K. It's D-Rock. But he is primarily one of the biggest content producers / videographers / editors / sound guys in the game. And he's such a positive force.
Yeah.
Like, I deleted almost everybody else off of my feed who even plays in that game.
Right.
Because then I get to like Thursday and I got to see like Joe be pissed off and depressed.
Right.
And I don't want to see Joe be pissed off and depressed. Like, I got my own pissed off and depressed.
Right. I got that covered.
Right. But like fucking D-Rock, like I get on D-Rock's feed and I'm like, hey, I wonder what D-Rock's doing right now. And D-Rock's like, hey guys, listen up. If you work hard and you like what you do, I'm so proud of you. You're living your best life. And I'm like, well, damn, son. I mean, like, I kind of needed that,
I mean, that's a
And the kid's like fucking 24 or some
he's
shit.
really young.
Like he's Yoda.
I'm gonna look on my Twitter here, because there's a guy that just followed us, and he did the exact same sort of thing today, where he just lifted my spirits real fast, because it was looking to be like kind of a rough day. If I can just find him real fast.
You probably can. It's Twitter. That
It's,
conversation happened 4 years ago.
Well, it happened this morning. Here it is. Hey, you reading this right now. Hope you have a great day.
That's badass.
I mean, isn't it
I
badass?
love that. And this is a great segue into the next thing I want to talk about. So my thing right now is I've always been on the side. I mean, I've always been on the side of the guy that's too short, or the guy that's too fat, or the guy that's not strong enough, or the guy that, I don't know if it comes from being homeschooled as a child. I don't know if it comes from rooting for the underdogs. I don't know if it's, playing stickball in the streets. I mean, the reality was we didn't have a lot of shit, So we played in the woods, but we made guns. We watched all the old war movies, and we would spend half a day collecting pine cones because those are hand grenades.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to refight
Perfect
these
hand
battles.
grenades.
Yeah. And then we would go out and try to dig in the woods, which is fucking hilarious because, in East Texas, you can't dig more than
dig in the
4
woods.
inches,
Right,
to try to create trenches and foxholes and all these things. But anyway, I digress. The point of this is, everyone is hating on social media right now.
Yes.
And they're saying social media is the cause of the problem. Social media
weird.
is the cause of the negativity.
Right.
Social media is the cause of the Trump videos. So I've started running an experiment with my friends. I say, look, if you really think social media is the problem, then I want you to do one thing for me.
Okay.
Just Monday through Friday, I want you to get on whatever social media you like. Okay? It could be
Alright.
Twitter, it could be Instagram, it could be Facebook, it could be TikTok. I don't care. Get on there, and before you look at anything, hit the search function. So you open it up, you hit the search function, and you type in what you're interested in. So,
Okay.
for instance, cats or kittens. You
Right.
type in kittens on your form of social media, Monday through Friday, for 1 week, consume that content. Watch those videos of kittens, read those articles about kittens, like that stuff about kittens, and comment on kittens. You know what? You know what will happen?
You'll feel better.
Also, you'll never see a Trump video ever again.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, any of this stuff, it's just a computer program.
Right.
So if Flavor Ray says, I'm gonna watch kittens for 5 days, his phone will never show him anything but kittens ever again.
So when you're complaining about negativity on social media, it's because you're negative on social media.
Because you're
Like-
consuming the negative on social
You're
media.
consuming the negative because you're a negative asshole.
And it's important that you use that word consuming, right? It
Yeah.
has more connotation than what most people think these days. You know, you're not just reading something or watching a video or whatever. You are internalizing that which you are reading. Okay.
The term that was a phone, guys. It wasn't a music cue for that insightfulness.
It sounded almost like there's going to be a
The
visual
more you
graphic.
know?
Yeah,
No.
the more you know what's coming right up. But yeah,
pause.
you are internalizing that, and it's becoming a part of you, a part of your everyday. And the computer program wants to feed you stuff that you're going to continue to interact and engage with.
Yes, because that's how they keep selling phones.
Right.
That's how they keep selling software. That's how they keep people on their platforms. So if you don't specifically, it would almost be as if every single person in this town, okay,
Yeah.
went to the grocery store every day to eat. Imagine you couldn't eat at home, okay?
Like that was illegal to eat
Right,
at home.
it was illegal to eat at home, so you all went to the grocery store to eat, right?
Right.
And you just walked in and ate whatever you wanted every day. You just
Right.
have to take it off the shelves and eat it while you're in the store.
Right.
There would be a massive outcry about how grocery stores are killing people.
Right. Because everyone is eating a bunch of crap from those middle aisles.
Right, so what are they doing? They're going in there and they're eating a half a pack of Oreos and leaving.
And going home.
And then they're saying grocery stores are negative. Grocery stores gave me diarrhea. Grocery stores killed me. No, they fucking didn't. You consumed nothing but Oreos for 5 days. Fuck you. You should spend the next week on the toilet.
Right. It was, and you were poisoning yourself and blaming the poison instead of you for drinking it.
Right.
You know,
and
I mean,
you can
it's-
pick any. That's the thing about America is when you go in the grocery store, you can pick anything you want.
Right. There's absolutely no reason for you to eat something that's unhealthy.
Right.
It's like being like a lot of times, like I'm gluten free. Okay, my whole family's gluten free. I have an allergy, and my wife and daughter are sensitive. My little one doesn't give a fuck. She'll eat anything. She's like a goat. But the rest of us have to be careful. And so I go to the grocery store and I cook a lot, and I shop for ingredients, and I'm very careful. I don't go for anything processed. Like, you're not gonna catch me buying, let's say,
Oreos?
I don't just go in and buy Oreos. I don't just go in and buy the box of macaroni and cheese or something like that, or hamburger. Like, like everything has to be made from scratch. And as a result, my family, we like do blood, you get health tests, blood tests and shit like that. So our numbers are incredibly good all the way around. Cholesterol's way down. I eat steak like 3 times a week.
Right.
You know what I mean? But cholesterol is extremely low.
Yeah.
Because I don't eat a bunch. Sodium levels are real low. Like everything is in real good spec because I shop on the outside ring.
Right.
Of the supermarket.
Okay.
Where they don't expect anybody to actually shop. That's where I shop.
Okay. And all I'm asking you to do, from human to human, first Hokage to Shinobi, like I am saying, if you do that and it is successful, then take that and apply it to your finances. Take that and apply it to social media. Take that and apply it to the movies you watch, because you have described a strategy for me now that sounds like it works for you and your family. And I think that's excellent. But what I find most often happens most of the time, and I know I'm getting a little manic here, but this is like number one. If you follow my Instagram, if you follow my Facebook, if you get tattooed by me, you hear me preach about nothing else. Because you found something that works for you. But what they teach us is, it only applies to that one area, Ray.
Right.
Only do the ring concept at the grocery store. On finances and everything else, you got to have a different strategy. You got to follow someone else. And I'm going, no. Flavor Ray found his way. He found what works for him, for his kids, right? It works for your family, the people under your roof.
Right.
So now, just apply it to social media. Don't fucking load Twitter and scroll down through the middle aisles.
Right.
Motherfuckers shop at the edges.
Right. It's and I agree with that wholeheartedly.
There's no negativity on the internet. There is 3 dudes that are literally the worst humans in the world. And everybody loves going straight to that end cap and picking up those Twinkies and complaining about the stomach ache they have later.
Absolutely love it when, what's the motherfucker's name? Rush Limbaugh said something retarded. And, oh yeah, the R word. I said that one out loud. My bad, guys. I didn't mean to trigger anybody. Just pretend I didn't say that. So whenever
he says something stupid,
that R word Limbaugh says something retarded, he always gets huge amounts of traction for it from the other side. Like leftists retweet Rush Limbaugh much more than conservatives.
Right, and people say no, it's his constituents that are retweeting him.
Yes, they say he's the Fox News watchers are the problem.
Right.
It's like, no, I think it's kind of you are the problem because you keep reading this shit and then trying to get me to read it.
Right. Every time someone says, hey, did you hear what Rush Limbaugh said? I genuinely have the same thought. That's still a thing? I haven't read anything he said in 100 years. Right. I know those are bad.
It's where the publicity factor comes into play. The good PR, bad PR, right?
Hey, I got to take this phone call. You guys carry on.
So there's no such thing as bad PR. So when you're sitting here doing something like what we're doing, right? If you specifically gear it to upset people, you're going to get just as much attention as you are by saying good things. The attention is going to be there.
Right.
Okay. The difficulty is in getting people to recognize that the more attention they give to somebody who they don't agree with, the more that concept they don't agree with will permeate through the network of people that they know.
And the weird thing about it is, because it permeates through their network, the negativity becomes it begins to consume things around it. For example, TikTok. He's mentioned TikTok a couple of times. TikTok is a very controversial video app right now simply because people don't like it for existing. We'll get to more on that in just a second.
My name ain't Mikey, but yeah, I rock. You know why? Cause I don't give a fuck. That's why it doesn't matter whether I'm cool or not. Just a taste of the word gives me the gut rock. It's not pop, so just stop like a blood clot. Cause we're here to blow up like we came from a rock. Electronica embezzled by hip.
So TikTok is the program that everybody wanted. Everybody said they wanted. When Vine went away, we were like, hey, we're not having these short videos anymore. And so TikTok came to replace it, and immediately the kids grabbed onto it and started making these videos. And they're great videos. The kids are talented. The kids are all right, man.
Right.
They're doing great things. They're very creative. And the adults are shitting all over it.
Yeah.
Because it's out there. There's no other reason. Say, well, it's just, that program is just for kids. Well, so?
Right.
So fucking what? Of course it's just for kids. The kids are always going to be at the head of the game.
Yeah.
It's our job to support what they do.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people think that way. I think a lot of people think that if the kids are doing it, well, I pay the bills, so I should be doing it. So you have all these adult-themed water parks, and you have all these adult-themed,
adult coloring books.
Right. I feel like quite frankly,
my adult coloring books.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, and I don't think there's anything.
Okay.
I'm not attacking it. What I'm saying is, don't take it away from the children. Give the kids what they need.
Right. Let them have it, and if you do get involved in it with the right spirit. Like, get involved with the idea that it's going to be successful, rather than, oh, I'm trying to show up my kid.
Yeah, that my kid has more followers than I do, or my kid gets more likes than I do, or some nonsense like that.
Right, my kid doesn't deserve clout. So if your 12-year-old is making $40,000 a year on TikTok, I don't know how he's doing it. You don't have to tell me how he's doing it, but be grateful that he's doing it.
Yeah, I've argued. So we homeschool our kids, and I've been pushing the hypothesis for a few years because, you know, there's so many different ways to homeschool, and there's so many different ways to interact with your kids in public school. I'm not saying we're special, but one of the things that Sarah and I have gone back and forth on is, you know, social media time, entrepreneurial time, you know, because the reality is, and that's a little in the vein of unschooling, which I learned about from your wife.
Right. Martha.
I think that unschooling is a very fascinating concept because, you know, to break one off here for a second, I think that the issue is, people ask me all the time, they say, man, Ben, where do you get your perspectives from? Okay, where are you coming from? Like, you seem like you're always coming from left field.
Right.
The interesting thing about that is I'm rarely coming from left field. I'm most often coming from, I'm coming from the perspective of an 18-month-old, 22-month-old, 30-month-old child.
Right.
Because I watch the way a 24-month-old child interacts with door handles. Have you ever watched a kid open a door? Like, it's fucking fascinating, dude. They fucking love doors.
Yeah.
They also love handles. They also love things they can push on, and it causes something else to happen. So, for instance, a doorbell makes a noise.
Right.
Literally, you do not need anything else for an 18-month-old kid but a doorbell.
Or elevator button because they light up.
Right, and they'll stay there forever.
Yeah.
And I find that fascinating. I find it fascinating that when the 18-month-olds that I know, right, go to open a door, right, they automatically get joy out of the process. They automatically get joy out of the fact that they cannot, in fact, reach the door handle.
Right.
And so what do? They start trying to put more force into it than is needed, because most often door handles need finesse, not force.
Right.
So what do? They get a stool, they get a book to stand on, they get something, right?
Right.
And they start beating the ever-loving shit out of this thing that simply turns left and right.
Right.
And I can't help but think about most of the adults in my life, you know, and what's great about it is when you watch a kid, what they will most often do is beat the shit out of the door. Okay? Then they'll throw themselves on the ground.
Right.
Right? And curse about it in whatever language they speak.
Right.
and then they'll get back up. They never go away from the problem.
No, they're going to stick.
Right.
This is the thing they're going to solve.
Right. They're going to stay there, and then they'll look a lot of times, but people aren't paying attention. They'll look over and go, "Hip."
Are you going to
are you
assist here?
And what I will most often say is, "Hey, do you want me to help?" What I see other parents do is walk over and open the door.
Right.
That isn't help. As soon as I'm gone, so if I walk outside and Wile E. Coyote like a bag of rocks falls on my head and crushes me out of existence, that child still has no idea how to open a door.
Right.
So I will ask the child and see if I have their attention. Hey, do you actually want help? And then the child normally, because they're not speaking full English yet, they'll look at me, they'll look at the door, and they'll go, meh.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is, yes, I would prefer if you were involved in this, because this is fucking bullshit.
Right.
So then, rather than do it for them still, I will hold my hand in front of their face and say, watch this. And I will very gently and slowly touch the door handle and make it a very exaggerated movement of left and right.
Mm-hmm.
A very exaggerated clock motion.
Right.
Most often what happens next can only be described as a light bulb going off and will you please get the fuck out of my way?
It's the aha moment.
And in that aha moment, the child understood that force does not overcome intelligence. So now what do? Now they go around trying to turn everything in a clock-like motion. Let's try to turn the wheel. Let's try to turn the dog. Let's try to turn the coloring book. Let's try to turn my clothes. What if we turn my shoes around 3 times?
Right.
You know, because they're trying to say, how many other places does this work? And that goes back to what we were just saying with social media.
About social media.
In other words, you've discovered something that works for you, and my job as Hokage is to stand here and go, Ray, you got it. You figured it out. And you say, well, Ben, that means you're treating me like an 18-month-old. Yeah. I'm treating you like a human.
That's accurate.
Because everyone else in your life is going, hey, have you read... Have you watched 900 hours of Dave Ramsey? Have you consumed 6 years of Gary Vee's content? Have you read the Encyclopedia of Britannica? Who the fuck is Britannica and why would I read their encyclopedia? No, I have a job. I work for a living. But you came up with something that works.
Guys, let me go ahead and tell you, like, I am an unschooler, okay? So, my kids are homeschooled. Unschooling is a part of our daily lives. And I will warn you, if you have a small child and you choose to unschool them, much of your unschooling will be in the fashion that Ben just described, where they show interest in something and then you show interest in it with them, and then a lesson happens. As a result, my youngest child, who is now about to be 3 in December, but she's doing that, she can open every door. Now you say, well, that's great. Well, to the bathroom,
it's a problem.
To the front door.
Right.
You know? So yes, you have to teach more lessons than necessary than other because they learn so quickly. I don't want her like her sister catching me in flagrante with my significant other.
There you go, using Latin again.
See, because I'm trying to be delicate, damn it. I don't want to be blunt all the time.
We really work if Ray was like, kid walked in and I was balls deep.
Yeah, that is what happened. Like, that's a great story, by the way, that I'm going to tell next time. Like, I'm not going to tell it this time, but that is a great story.
I happen to feel like
a lot of levels there.
Me and my wife kind of take a hybrid approach, you know.
Because your kids are not homeschooled and they're not unschooled.
Correct.
Do they go to a private school or a public school?
So if for preschool and all that, the kids go to private schools. And then once, for a period of time, our oldest went to private school during some elementary school years.
Okay.
But then once we got into where we're living now with a middle school that we really enjoy. Now she's in public school.
Okay.
And our school-age son is also in public school.
Okay.
But we take a lot of care to ensure that those simple life lessons, like opening a door, are done in a way that interacts with the child, that takes interest with the child.
Yeah.
That my 8-year-old loves doing puzzles.
Yeah.
So we feed that.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's his way of learning something. Is in order for him to learn something, he's actually just like me. In order for him to learn about something, he has to take it completely apart and try to put it back together.
Well, and that's one of the
like
things
that.
I notice about you and Liz is even though your kids do go to public school, it's not in the same vein of, I think, Ray, your experience in public school which was, you're almost thrown to the teachers, and that's the only learning that occurs.
Right.
Where I see with Mike and Liz, and I've watched this for several years, is if their kids spend, let's say, 36 hours a week in public school, they spend 36 hours a week with their children after public school. So I'm not even really.
That's completely. That actually probably undermines the schooling.
Right. It undermines it, but in one sense it assists it.
It assists the education, undermines the schooling.
Because
Absolutely.
the children are always learning.
Yes.
And see that's been my thing from day one, and I think it's your thing as well. It's like school doesn't stop because it's 8 p.m.
Right.
Especially if you have an 18-month-old who can't get a water bottle top open.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And who's going at it counterclockwise. Most parents will then try to jump in and be upset when the water bottle is spilled on the floor.
Right.
Whereas my thing is, first of all, it's either linoleum, it's tile, it's concrete, and the reality of the situation is, what is the harm in the water bottle being spilled 17 times because this 18-month-old is attempting to turn the top counterclockwise.
There's no harm in the mess at all.
Right.
Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and that's one of the things that truly bothers me about the way. Like, for example, if your child comes to you after school and you say, how's your day? What'd you learn? They say, we learned math. You go, oh, that's good, and move on. You fucked up.
Yep.
Right.
You missed all of your opportunity right
We
there.
do not get. Our kids do not get a chance to pass off on the school. It's what did you learn math? Well, what about it? Tell me what you did.
Tell me exactly
what were
you
the
did.
problems?
Right.
What part of math? Because
And
math is a broad subject.
I actually tend to focus on where did you struggle most?
Yes.
Where did
What
you
was
have
your
the most
mistake?
difficulty?
Yeah.
What was your mistake? What was the thing that you just couldn't get?
Right.
And we do have struggles. Everyone does. And our kids have certain struggles. Especially in for one of them, math, right? And so the entire point of what I do is I do my best to sit down and say, what different ways can we think about this?
Yeah. Well, and that's where a lot of even I tend to call what I do manic, but I don't think it is. I think what you see is my passion coming out when we found the problem, because
Right.
I love it when people have that aha light bulb moment. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be about yard drainage. It can be about concrete consistency. It can be about installing a toilet. It can be about cooking food. It can be about tattoos. It can be about painting. But when you find that aha moment, dude, that's when synergy happens.
And that's when you're the most human.
Yeah, that's when you're the most alive. And it's like, dude, let's dig into this. Let's stay in this moment.
Because you're excited, you're present, and you are about to do something dope. Speaking of which, look, it's about time for a smoke break. So this has been Tattoo with Children. I'm Flavor Ray over in C-Day. You can find Tattoo with Children on Instagram at Tattoo with Children. You can find us on Facebook, Tattoo with Children. And you can find us on Twitter at Tattooed with, because fuck Jack. I don't like him. All right, guys, anything else?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, we're trying new sign-off names, sign-on names, whatever. So give me y'all's feedback on the Dread Pirate Benjamin.
The Dread Pirate Benjamin.
Yeah,
is
not
dope.
you guys. I don't give a fuck about what y'all think. I want to know what the audience thinks about the
bad.
Dread Pirate Benjamin.
Okay, you heard that.
I think that might be my new sign-on name.
Okay, so that's an assignment, guys. We need you to just DM any social media with your thoughts on Ben's new sign-on name, the Dread Pirate Benjamin.
Mike, you got anything else?
No, that's it for me. Just try to catch me on IG at CIO Payne or on Facebook through the Tattoo for Children Facebook page.
All right, guys, let's smoke. Love you.
Peace out.
We were born to bring it back, but it's more than basic. It's a portion of his rap, but the core is ancient. It's supported like a pack of some